Hello, everybody. How are you? Am I being fashionably late? No, it's Thursday. I know you all know that. Thursday is also when we film our Feedback Friday. It's interesting. I'm looking over here. I should probably look up here. There's the camera. How are you all? Wow, everybody's all over the place. Netherlands. Hey, Tom. I've been reading. That is me answering, by the way. So I've been... is Dave there today? I'm not sure which Dave you mean. Still not here, says Dave. Excuse me, that was a sneeze. So yes, no, that was me answering the question. So hello in Norway, hello in Brazil, hello in Argentina, Sherwood Forest. We've been doing it all. Hello! It's so wonderful to see you all on here. And of course we have orangutan trade salesman. All I can say is that's a heck of a job. Ching. I'm Cheltenham, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Oh, I have a story about Grand Rapids. I'll tell you that another day. It's pretty funny. I played a show there. Anyway. Utah, we're talking in mid-late 90s when I first moved to America. Clear the brain out. Ukraine. Hello from Croatia. Finland. I know Finland well. Spent some time in Helsinki years ago. Absolutely beautiful. God bless you too. Stuff full of fish and chips, says Chris. Very nice. What's going on, everyone? Quinn, how are you, Quinn? You're in Minnesota. I had somebody here from Minnesota yesterday. We had a busy day yesterday. You know, one of the biggest... hello, Darren. Hello in Hampshire. I forgot, Darren. Where are you in Hampshire? Aren't you close to where I'm from? Anyway, the reason why we do this is because we actually do music for a living. I'm not a professional YouTuber. You know, and I don't, you know what I mean? I actually do music for a living. So yesterday was absolutely crazy insane. So we started off in the morning doing the live stream. It was my son's first day back at a new school. First day, I should say, you know, going back to school at a brand new school. So my wife was up really super early. So it was a busy, busy morning. She is a rock star. So got all of that stuff done. And, was absolutely fantastic. I, on the other hand, started about 9-ish and got some stuff done. I mean, I start earlier than that with emails, but I started physically in the studio at 9-ish. Yeah, it was about 9. And then we did the live stream. After the live stream, we did vocals with the Matthews for about 3 hours. Then after the vocals, Christina came down and worked to about 10:30. Working on her album to finish up the tracking on her album. We still got to mix it. And then Christina left, and then the Matthews came back, and we worked on guitar parts until the earlier hours of the morning. And here I am back again at 9 a.m., filming Feedback Friday, now doing a live stream with all of you beautiful people. And then after that, at 12, I will finish up a little bit more of the Feedback Friday because I didn't get to finish it. And I'll work all day and all night with the Matthews on their record. So this is what we do all day. And I know it's ridiculous and it probably is mind-blowing to all of you that I'm in the studio for 12 or 15 hours a day. Luckily, my family is super close. But that's the reason why we do this YouTube channel. I'm not a professional YouTuber. I'm not in the twilight of my career. I'm not sort of... you know, like going, I don't know what to do. I should do YouTube. I started this, you know, as a way to show people, because I felt like that's what was missing. I felt like there was a lot of people that had YouTube channels that were doing it, you know, for business reasons. And then there was other people at the other side. And I was like, where's the connection? How do we connect? How do we connect people together? So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to connect the sort of beginners and the returning people and all the professionals together and show what it's like, you know, to make music for a living. So how do I keep my energy up? I'm blessed because I get to do what I love. My family's close. It's great. And yes, I don't sleep that much, but you know what? Nor does anybody that gets to do this for a living, you know? I do mix with the SSL all the time. But what's today about? Today is about mixing with headphones and using stock plugins. So yes, please, as Shannon, I'm reading the wrong person. As Sean is saying, Sean is asking, can you please like and share? So please hit that like button, share it anywhere on social media. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. And yes, there is definitely coffee, courtesy of Lewis and Mastering. This is what they call the left-handed mug. It's on the wrong side. A left-handed mug. All right, so... All right, well, this is fantastic. Thank you, you're blessed. Oh, Sheila, where did you meet me? I'm sorry if I don't remember. No JPL. Yeah, my JPL mug is in the house. It's actually not my mug, it's my son's. I got it for my son. But this is very, very exciting. Sleep is an illusion. Hi there, Real Raven. I didn't know you were in Ireland. Well, you know that I'm part Irish, as I'm sure you all know. And, of course, the boys I'm working with are Irish as well. I mean, we're all citizens of the world as it is. But anyway, let's move on. So what do we have going on? Well, what's wonderful about what we have going on is there's been a lot of internet discussion and YouTube discussion from the professional YouTubers talking about can you mix with headphones on? And I realized a couple of days ago, as I'm sure you're aware, that we'd been mixing David's song that was mastered a couple of days ago and is coming out tomorrow. David's song Side by Side. If you haven't downloaded the multitracks, please do it. I'm sure Matt will put up a link to those multitracks. I just realized I mixed the whole of that song inside of a DAW in the box with a pair of headphones on, and I wasn't thinking about it. Was not thinking about it. Wasn't like writing some post talking about mixing with headphones on. I was actually mixing a good sounding song and mixing it as well as we could and not even thinking about it, and then realized, oh, schnizzle, I just mixed it with a pair of headphones on. And not only did I not mix it, I lost my train of thought there. Excuse me. Not only did I, record the song, I mixed it entirely on headphones, and the biggest deal is I mixed them on these headphones. They're the blue Lolas, and they're a relatively new pair of headphones for me. I've had them for about 3 or 4 months now. Isn't that crazy? And I wasn't thinking about it. And there's all these long videos. Don't pay attention to people that tell you can't mix on headphones and blah, 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 blah. Drama, big thing. All these big deal videos. And then I realized that sometimes in this world, instead of putting up really dramatic videos don't high pass, you can mix with headphones. Sometimes you just have to do this. You just have to make music. You have to mix music. You just have to get on with it. And you realize that you're doing things just the way you're supposed to, and you get amazing results. So here's the reality. Without even thinking about it or discussing it, I mix with headphones. And headphones that I didn't really know that well. And I realized it's a combination of acquired knowledge, but most importantly, for all of you out here watching this at the moment, trust your ears. If something seems too boomy or too whatever, these are $300 headphones, so they're not cheap. They're not the most expensive and they're not the cheapest. The reality is with these $300 headphones is they sound really good. Do they sound absolutely amazing? I don't know. But I also don't care because, the most famous pairs of headphones in England are the Biodynamic DT100s. I have 3 pairs of them. They're in the other room. I grew up using DT100s. They sound like a pair of NS10s strapped to your head. They're pure mid-range. They're rah, loud and mid-rangey. They're amazing for tracking because you're sitting in a room the way we used to make records as kids, everybody, the whole band in the room playing together, and you can hear your parts cutting through. You can hear everything cutting through. They were really, really good. However, I wouldn't recommend mixing on them, but I have. Because They're what I had. And then as somebody was talking about, Andrew Shep said he was mixing on Sony 7506s. In America, the standard is the Sony 7506s. So every studio you go to, hello Walker. Hey Ron, how are you? Every studio you go to has a pair of 7506s. So it's not actually that aha moment. The aha moment isn't actually that dramatic. It doesn't really deserve a video going, can you mix on headphones? Oh my God. It's actually not that big of a deal. Of course you can mix on headphones. Of course you can. Of course you can mix on speakers. Is it more enjoyable to sit in a big room that's soundproofed and treated with a nice big fat pair of monitors like this, laying back, mixing, going, look at me, I'm on a Neve, I'm on an SSL. Is it more satisfying? Yeah, it's a little bit more satisfying to sit there and feel important with your cup of coffee, you know. My delicious cup of coffee, you know, sitting there with my SSL, being all whatever, pick up a guitar, play along. Yeah, that's a really nice feeling. But I just inadvertently mixed a song on headphones, not even thinking about it, and it worked. So there you go. And they weren't even headphones I knew that well. They were the Blues, which I've just started using, and I don't use all the time. I have Biodynamic 1990s, but you know the reason why I didn't use the Bios? Because Max from the band is sitting in the other room currently. Hello, Max. Recording guitar parts, building synth pads, working on Ableton, and doing some great work. He just, by the way, told me that he downloaded the new version of Omnisphere. Have you guys heard that? Apparently it's absolutely amazing. Anyway, he's using my DT 1990, so I thought I'll just use these. Didn't even think about it. So that, if you've got a pair of headphones that you know and love and trust, mix this song. Mix this song. If you're in the Academy, download these multitracks. Mix these songs. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And if you're not a member of the Academy yet, get in there and get these tracks. And a 30 other. We have tracks in there with Vinnie Carluta playing drums on them. We have, Victor Andrizzo, Blair Sinter, every musician you can imagine, every bass player, every drummer. Leland Sklar, obviously if you get the charity course, that's something that all the proceeds, all the profits go to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. I believe this is our first full month of selling it that we're coming to, and I believe that we're already in profit quite heavily. I want to guess about $6,000, $7,000, maybe even $8,000, I think about $7,000, and that's all due to you. All that money is going, all that profit is going to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. So God bless you all that bought the course. This is wonderful. Anyway, let's do some music. Enough of my waffling on. Okay, so here we are. I'm up here. Hey! I feel like sometimes the people that are making the videos and talking about that are making a big deal out of like mixing with headphones or high passing or something. The reason why they make these videos is because they're just discovering it at the same time that you are. So they make a video making a big deal out of it because it's new to them. It's like, oh my God, you can mix with headphones on. Oh my God. It's like, yeah, you do whatever it takes. All right, here's where we left off. Cool. Now, you remember we did that yesterday? We did that fun drum print. Here it is. Which is basically just stereo. It's just the whole drum mix bounced to stereo. I'm just going to refresh you because it's a big part of the drum sound. So look what I did here. Hopefully you can see. Oh, okay, cool. You see I went down to here. 213 high passed. So I took out all the low end and a big chunk of low mids. And on the high end here, I low passed at 1.6K. So see what happens? It's like nice slope. And then we had the oing, oing of the snare. We can take it out, hear it. It's just a build-up of 650. So I just chunked it out, and here we got. So I just softened it just a little bit, because the point of it is to add movement to it. At the moment, it's pretty loud. It's pretty loud. Then I use lo-fi, which I absolutely love. It's one of the best stock plugins around. It's distortion and saturation. Here's the distortion here, here's the saturation. What I love about this is one distorts the high end and one distorts the low end first. So they're really good. It's a really good plugin to use on really, really disgusting, really disgusting, like mid-rangey, high mid-rangey, overly bright room mics or something like that. Even on a distorted electric guitar. That sounds crazy. If you've got a disgustingly distorted electric guitar that's so bright and so horrible, stick this on and distort the high end slightly more. The Klanghelm is good for that, but we're doing stock plugins. This is all about stock plugins. Now, obviously, not all of you are on Pro Tools and you don't all have the latest version of Pro Tools Native like I do. That's fine. So even if you don't, this plugin, the Lo-Fi, has been available for ages. You can use any kind of one. If you've got a third-party one, you do want to, not stock. Decapitator's really good. Klanghelm's really, really good. Okay, and then we use the modulation delay afterwards. And we have one as an 8th note and one as a 16th. And we panned it in, see here, down here, about 50-50, roughly. It's not a rocket science. And this helps the drums move. So if I take it off, have a listen. Cool, so a good solid drum sound. Let's drop it in. As Michael's talking about, the Klanghelm is a great plugin. Yeah, we're not doing third-party plugins. We're just talking here specifically, obviously, about stock plugins. Now, a quick refresher: we didn't do a heck of a lot to the drums. We used all the low end from the natural kick. What we decided to do was gate it, and we triggered the gate. You see here, we triggered that gate. You see the key? We keyed it from a drum sample. Why do we do that? Yes, it is a ping pong delay. Why did we do that? Because we wanted a good controlled one. That's we're in solo safe on the reverb, hence why it's doing that. If we go to that and take it out of pre, we'll no longer do this. Okay. So we're using that we're using that specifically. The Klanghelm, we're not using the Klanghelm here, but it is the MJUC that we're all talking about, the MJUC. So, yeah, but it wasn't so much, good point, it wasn't so much about getting rid of the bleed as much as just using it for the low end. Okay, so that was a quick refresher. Now, we didn't bust these drums yet. We have not bust the drums yet. We haven't separated the kicks or the snares into individual buses. We're doing an overview. We're talking about this slowly. We're doing it in real time. And we are now onto the bass. So let's listen to the bass as I have it at the moment. Let's get rid of all of this schnizzle. Have a listen. The bass with the track. Okay, well, there's definitely a buzz on the bass, and it's not the tightest. There's a couple of moments. I have to let's have a listen. Like that. So let's just highlight that, pull it back a little bit. This is what I do love about the latest Pro Tools for those of you who use it. Look how much smoother this feels. This is the same computer, by the way, that I use for my HD system. So this has banged into the mic. This has cards in it, and it's running through the SSL. So this is also, I'm using this also on the SSL. So sometimes when you're mixing, you have to do these kind of things. Now, bear in mind, this is me playing bass. So I don't mind editing myself quite so much. But I want this, I want this to sit slightly behind the kick, not on top of it. So I don't mind taking 2 minutes and just going, moving it, especially at the top of the song where this groove is like really important. Let's have a listen. So, I mean, most of it's good. Most of it's within the realms of acceptability. Like, I'd be fine. I'm talking too much. Most of the time, I'd be fine with letting a little of these go. And all I'm doing here is just laying it back. And luckily, because I have a stereo drum print above, I've actually got a good reference point. What headphones am I using? I'm using the Blue Lolas. Yes, the bass was compressed on the way in. You can tell that with the attack and release time, there was a bit of pop, 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 and a little bit of extra aggression. I'm just laying myself back a little bit. See, what happens here is you'll notice, like as the song progresses, I get tighter, because, you'll find that if you are going to do any editing, at least in my experience, is like you end up doing more of it at the beginning because somebody's just starting to get into the feel of the song. See, that one really bothers me because you can hear how, and you've got to be listening, not looking. So you see what I'm doing? I was waiting to hear something. I mean, this technically is ahead, but it didn't bother me. This technically is slightly ahead, but it didn't bother me. But this one did. This is the way to edit. Don't look, listen. See that one there? Totally sounded ahead, and I looked and it was ahead. One thing I learned when I was working with Dave Sardi, and we did a few albums together, is like, first of all, listen and then decide, where you want, what you need to edit. Like, and if you really look at this, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 9 notes out of the first 50. And as the song progresses, it's probably going to be, probably going to be even less. You can see the further I go along, the more it is. Plus, there's more latitude. Yes, it's a combination of my playing, because I'm digging in, bam, 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 and a little bit of compression going on the way in. Now, and just for those of you that are interested, these are BAE 312s that I'm using on the bass. I have a pair of them. Unfortunately, the camera is situated permanently on the top here for the stream. If I could move it, I would point down. I don't want to move it because it took about 10 minutes to get it in the right place. Maybe one day we can have a remote camera and I can show you. But yeah, the BAE 312s, the compression chain is actually using BAE's 10 DCs, 10 DCs. So it's not a cheap chain. It's definitely, oh, and it's only on the mic, the 10 DC. So the DI will sometimes use the vocal chain, which is a 160 into 1176. Thanks ever so much, M. Melly. Anyway, so listening to the bass and the bass with the track. Let's have a listen. Cool. So I like it. I like what it's doing. I mean, it's actually not a bad bass sound straight in. That was my jazz bass. Or was that the Yamaha? Oh, I think that's a jazz bass. I think it's just before I got my beautiful Yamaha. I think. We have video on it. We'll have to check. So it's a great sounding bass. Take the drums off for a second. That's definitely the jazz bass. You hear that? Now we were getting a bit of, if you can hear that, a bit of bzzz, so that's kind of annoying. So I have to decide, do I want to gate that, or is it going to be okay? Is it going to be okay inside of a track? That's not something I necessarily have to think of immediately. Now, those of you who will follow me know that I will time adjust this and phase. You hear that? Phase. I will phase reverse it if necessary. At the moment, it's a weird kind of phase correlation. Let's see what I did here. I flipped the phase and I delayed it totally by 210 samples. Very interesting. Although that's phase reversed as well. It's very, very interesting phase relationship between the DI and the amp. I'm going to listen to the amp on its own. Now the DI. Hit really hard. You can tell I'm playing very, very hard. All the noise is coming off of the amp, not the DI. Which is interesting. Yeah, I'm going to phase it. It's flaze. Yo, I'm going to be flazing. So, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to treat this as two separate entities. Now, for me, it looks like this peak here. See this peak here? And this peak here could be the same, strangely enough. So if we decide that those two peaks are the same, it's like here as well. So let's go to samples, 112. Here it's 140, maybe a little less. I don't know. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 120. So I'm doing 120s. I'm delaying the DI to the amp. And I'm also, see here? See what I did? I'm phase reversing it. Flaze me, baby. All right, let's have a listen. I think I might make that plugin. Thank you. All right, so we're going to turn it on and off. See here? See that okay, everybody? You're going to see me turn it on and off. On, off. Got a whole bunch of plugins on here. Okay, well, we can get to all that stuff later. Okay, so It's quite a big difference. Let me, we did have an amp cutout though. Interesting. Listening again. All right, it's subtle, but I can hear it. I can hear it loud and clear. Can you hear the low end come in a little better? Have a listen. Do you all hear this? It does sound good on the way in, and yes, it definitely was compressed. Okay. So I can hear that. So that has flipped the phase of the DI and delayed it using time adjuster. It's never going to be perfect. It never is. It will never be perfect. And I don't care if it really is, but it can be better. So now that it's better, we have to decide something. What do we want to use? Normally with an amp, I use it for personality. Have a listen to the amp. See, I'm interested, that's the DI. I'm just trying to decide, and I'm talking through it, so I'm doing it slowly. Do I prefer the DI or the amp for the low end? I think in this instance, which is unusual, usually I use the DI. Usually I use the DI for the low end because it's cleaner. I think I played this so hard, I dug in, that I think for a difference, I might actually use the amp for the low end. See? So where the amp cut out there, where we had an issue, I'm just going to take this. I'm going to take this section and copy it over. Great. Let's put it in with the drums and have a listen. Cool. Okay, so flip a coin. Yeah, I like the way the DI sounds. See, but there you go, Alex. I like the DI because it gives me personality. You see, when you're recording two things, it's so you can pick up, you can pick up two elements. Even Samuel's trolling me. Thanks, Sam. I like that. Also, there's another thinking going on. The other thing I like about the amp is the low end is really, really good. But what I don't like, I should say, is the buzz, you know, which the amp has got, and that's even though it was flipped or whatever, you know, I still have that buzz. So there's an advantage. So if I come in now and decide that I want to get an EQ, now we're going stock only. So let's go and use the amp. Dum-dum-dum-dum. Let's have a listen. See, that's pretty cool. So now what's happened is like the amp, which normally I wouldn't use for the low end, is actually kind of nice. So now let's just put that up there now on the DI. Click it over, turn that off, use the same EQ point, and look at that! So this is before. It's cool. Little editing here, I think. I'm a little ahead. Got a little happy there. I was racing home. I was like, I need to finish this song before David does. Cool. So I like that overall. I think the DI could, what I'm going to do is I'm duplicating the DI, which in Pro Tools, for those of you here, is Shift Option D. Active playlist, blah, blah, blah. Keep it in the group. Now, after the EQ here, I'm going to go and get, this is standard in Avid, so we're staying with stock plugins. I'm going to get our old friend SansAmp, and I'm going to squash the schnizzle out of it and destroy it. The only problem with this is that little annoying buzz is in there. So let's just see if before all of this, before we even go to EQ or anything, we can find ourselves, we're not using a waves, we're going to keep this completely stock. Let's just see if we've got a expander, and I don't mind if this gate is aggressive. All right, it's barely in. It's barely in, but it's going to get more in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bus this. Let's find 23. I'll do nicely. Thank you very much. Just going to create a mono auxiliary track. Doesn't need to be stereo. Let's bring that in on 23. Like so. We'll call this, yes, you guessed it, bass sub. How original. Oh, by the way, if you haven't already, like and share. That would be absolutely amazing. I see we have 139 likes. We have 332 people watching. Please. What does Look Ahead do? Well, Look Ahead allows you to, it basically reads the transient before it comes up. It's as simple as that. So it makes it so it's an instantaneous gate or an instantaneous, compressor. I had a compressor for years, a 1204 CL 1204, which was a broadcast compressor, and it was a look-ahead compressor. Okay, so it basically anticipates it. Oh, right. And you can create that by using, a delayed signal, or you can take a duplicate of the track and then put it earlier and trigger a compressor that way. It's an old trick. I've done it in a few videos. I can do it again. It's an old trick that's been around since, well, forever. where they would take a track that was playing early to trigger a compressor. It's not new to digital. It's just easier to do in digital now. All right, so let's go and see what we have in the wonderful world of stock plugins. There's a channel strip which comes as stock. There's the BF1176 which comes as stock. There's the Fairchild which comes as stock. There's an EQ that comes as stock. I mean, there's some pretty obvious things here that we could use. We're trying to do the least amount possible to really demonstrate how this stuff works. So let's go and grab a stock compressor, first of all, and just compress the whole signal together. As Adam says, it predicts the future. Very nicely put. Okay, so we'll keep searching on. So we just did a little bit of compression. Let's do, and I did that first. That's absolutely fine. I'm now going to go and get a stock EQ. Let's go for a 7-band. Let's go in and, oh my God, he's going to do it. Yes, I'm going to high pass. I've got into the area of the kick and got rid of a lot of it. Now for me, 80, 100, 110 is a sweet spot for bass. We're going to go to 80. See how rounded that starts to become? And with the high pass here, which is really important, it's also focusing that nicely. The Q's gentle. I don't want to sharpen the Q, but I could. I don't need to. I'm going to go to 110. See, I boosted 80 wide and 110 a little narrower. Here, you see the Q? So I've narrowed the Q. That's nice. It's just a little uneven. So I don't mind getting a little bit more aggressive. Now, if I had my wave stuff, and I do have my wave stuff, but we're not using it because we're mixing stock, I'd probably use an MV2 sooner rather than later, because an MV2 is controlling a lot more information. Now, we compress going into that. Let's get more aggressive. So let's see what this is going to do for us. This is the smack. This is a very, very aggressive Pro Tools stock plugin. Yeah, so that's more aggressive. Do I love it? No, I don't actually love it. I feel like it's a lot of the warmth is going, so I'm going to put the sidechain in and see what happens. This is what happens a lot. when you're using a lot of low end and pushing it into a compressor is if you don't have a great, if I'm compressing on the bass on the way in, I basically, when recording bass, Scott, I record it like a vocal. I learned that from Dave Jordan and a bunch of other engineers and producers, is think about bass in the same way you would about vocals. So for me, I'm not loving this. I'm not loving it. It's just not made for bass. It seems to be grabbing the low end. It's nice. I'm going to get a little bit more. Interesting. Says I have a. Yep. Again, you hear the low end is compressing first, so it's removing some of that extra low lows. This is just a great thing to do in real time, that you're hearing what. Are you hearing what I'm hearing? It's like the low end is hitting it too hard. So we're going to go now and we're going to grab. This is Avid's multiband compressor. Okay, so now I've exaggerated the low end using the multiband. So I'm compressing 150 and below heavily and then boosting it back up. Now, you guessed it, I'm going to go for an aggressive compressor. And we're going to go back. Let's go back to the smack, because the low end is now a little bit, definitely huge. Yeah, I think that isn't a free plugin. I think you're right. I don't think it comes with it. But that's kind of another good point here. It's a good discussion point. Like, to get the bass sound that we're looking for, we are reaching for a multiband. Definitely reaching for a multiband. So this is part of the conversation, because we don't want to fool people into believing that, that everything can be achieved. I mean, the reality is the bass sound without that is pretty darn good. And I think the way around it, so if I get rid of this, now if I turn off the multiband, turn off the smack, another solution would be to take the bass amp, which we're using for the low end, and compress that heavily. So let's turn on the smack there. Again, so even with the high pass filter on, still compressing those lows a bit too much for me. So let's do this. If it's compressing it more evenly, and we don't want to use a high pass, because we don't want to use a multiband because there isn't one coming with free, and the whole point of this is to use stock plugins. So what I'm going to do, okay, so you see what I did? Does it all make sense to you? We don't have a multiband compressor. We realized, thank you, as TA pointed out, that's why we took it off. That is not free. It doesn't come free of it. So what did I do? What I did is I used the smack compressor, hit it really, really hard after EQing. So the bass amp has all of the highs rolled off it at 200. And please ask me if this doesn't make sense, but I'm wiping off all the mid-range and the highs. I'm then compressing it evenly, so it's compressing the low end as well, nice and evenly, and then I'm boosting. So now I've got it's my fake multiband on the low end. Now put all the elements together. Yeah, we're avoiding multiband because it doesn't come free. Oh yeah, the MV2 would solve a lot of these issues. But so what I did, EQ into compression, wiping off the high end, wiping off the mid range, compressing it heavenly so it's even, and then EQing it afterwards. And that is really doing it in. Yeah, jerry-rigged multiband compressor. So now my bass amp is my low end. And it's a lot more even. Now, is it honestly getting as much low end as I would with an R bass? Probably not. You know, the R bass is pretty spectacular. I mean, there's reasons why certain plugins exists. Okay, Martin says there are free multi-band compressors in many DAWs. That's great to know. But I think in this instance, the R bass would have really, really made this work. This is 90% of the way there for me. Is it the absolutely perfect bass sound? No, we know that an R bass and an MV2 would just take it over the edge. But this is the whole point. We're teaching people the reality of mixing with stock plugins. And one of the biggest problems I hear in everybody's mixes, especially, inside of the Academy, we all know this, there's so many Academy members here, we always talk about the low end. The low end, the low end is a big, big deal. And not using high pass properly is a big, big problem. All the disinformation about high passing is really confusing people. You need to high pass, you need to create room, but most importantly, the reason why we high pass is to get things out of the way of each other so the low end works. If you've got a ton of low end, in this instance, like a DI and an amp, They're never going to be perfectly in phase of each other. They are never going to be in phase of each other. They're completely different. So that is our problem. So we can approximate it like we did, but if you wipe off the low end of one of those two sources and use the other one with it, you will hear the difference. And it's a huge difference. Yes, they're Lolas. And I've been using about 3 or 4 months along with other pairs, and that's how we're mixing. Okay, so people want to hear it with the track. Well, the track is nowhere near mixed, but let's have a listen.
And I can't find one more deserving of all the
Yes, that's me on slide guitar. So I let you listen to a lot of that. Normally I'm waffling on. Okay, so can I bypass the bass? Yeah, well, we'll have to turn this off. Here is the bass flat. So you hear the difference. It's interesting. It's like if I take off this low end boost here is really tasty. It's making it. It's definitely more even on the low end. There's a little. I fixed that fake stop. If you notice here. Anyway, so you'll notice that it's a little less personality, but it's a little bit more rounded and quote-unquote perfect with the EQ and compression. So what we've done specifically, I'll put this back in. So hopefully that shows you. Oh, Maggie, I saw your comment earlier. I want to say you were talking about the kids. I hear you. That's kids all going back to school. For those of us that have children, that's a big deal. Right. So what's the most difficult thing to mix? Bass guitar. Just proved it. So we just did that with no stock, with only stock plugins. So a bit of distortion, bit of EQ, a gate. We put the gate on the SansAmp one. The SansAmp's super low on this bass sound. And everybody's saying, go back and listen to this again. That's ugly, horrible, disgusting. Listen. Then put in the DI. Really ugly. Now throw in the bass amp. So it's a little bit of work. It was a little bit of work. I talked a lot. Probably did it like 1/3 of the speed because I was talking so much, but I want you to be able to follow. Okay, we are using the Audient ID4 and it's sitting down there. ID4, totally native, in the box, blue headphones, stock plugins. And you can, if you're Academy members, you can download this. So wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So let's do a giveaway for an Academy membership. Matt's probably texting me like mad, going, do the giveaway, do the giveaway, do the giveaway. My wife is texting me. She's asking me a question. Okay. Okie dokie. So let's do a giveaway. So this is for an Academy membership. So these multi-tracks are in here, although you can do the 14-day free trial and download them as well. Anyway, well, thank you ever so much, Paul. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Damien. I really appreciate it. So let us do a giveaway. What do I want to know? Well, we always talk about, what. Somebody just asked me about the ID4, and we talked last week yesterday about what interfaces you use. We also found out a little bit more in our community about what DAWs you're using. I know I've asked a lot about whether you're a musician or songwriters. Wow, what else do I want to know? I think I want to know, well, I love knowing where you're from, and I know you all start off with that. So let's do it again. Hey, where are all you from? Where are all you... Easy for me to say. Where are you all from? Where are you from? Tell me where you are. I know some of you quite well. How do I set contrast between kick and bass? I mean, Varan, that's kind of what we're talking about here. So I've created... you just got married? Sean, you'll just have to... Tell us where you're from, Sean. Matt does this randomly. Yes, happy wife, happy life. I texted her. I told her we were on live, and I said that obviously I can text you back while I'm live. So Ireland, Worcester, Asbury Park, Portugal, Buenos Aires, Pakistan, Minneapolis, Czech Republic, Madagascar, Stockholm, Netherlands, Fresno, Germany, LA, Oslo. Oh, so many amazing places. Utah, Athens, Georgia, Sacramento, Boston. Spent a lot of time there. Greece. Those of you know we love Greece. We had an amazing family vacation there, holiday there. My aunt and uncle have a place there. We love Greece. I love most of these places. I open a Pandora's box. I want to know where everybody's from. Canvey Island. Canvey Island, the home of the late, great Ian Jury. If you haven't heard the album New Boots and Panties by Ian Jury, go and buy it. Go and buy it now. It's absolutely amazing. It's an amazing album. Eric is gracing us with his presence. Woo! Go, Eric. The hair looks beautiful this morning. He obviously spent at least another hour on it. Could you pour me a coffee, seeing as you just walked in? Anyway. So who won? Oh, you're in Norfolk. Jake Osborne in Norfolk. Where in Norfolk? Going to Greece in 2 months. Where are you, orangutan trade salesman? Wow, it's amazing. I love Greece. Greece is such a beautiful country. Sri Lanka, gorgeous. Christchurch, New Zealand. New Zealand. I have so many good friends in New Zealand. You've got to have something in the water there. Eric, says Sean, you're late. Hit me with the rhythm stick, says Adam Fox. Dr. Feelgood. Yeah, another great band from Canvey Island. Yeah, amazing band. Well, that was the scene, wasn't it? The Canvey Island scene. Dave says it's good to be the boss. Yeah, technically I can't really be late. Jake Osborne is in Norwich. So yeah, hit up Matt and you've got a free year. And if anybody wins this as already an Academy member, you obviously get a free year on top or some free stuff. Hi, Mike, says Phil. Not sure who Mike is, but hello. Hello, Mike. Netherlands, congratulations. You used to live in Silver Lake, probably the same time as you. Oh, you did, Owen? I was there a while. Norden, Phil, Jake, everybody. Oh, I see you friends. You're saying hello to each other. India, beautiful. More Indians. That's amazing. Scarborough, more Indians. Oh, wow. How many people here from India are watching? Are you Academy members, the Indians? It would be really, really good. I'd like to encourage some other countries here that maybe aren't Academy members to get involved. So if you are, you can email Matt at support@producelikeapro and give us a little bit of backstory. We'd like to know more about you. Sweden, Brazil. Oh, I see. So you're all pretty close. Mike and Phil are 2 minutes from each other. Paul LeBlanc is in Burbank, down the street. Oh, you were on Sunset Junction. So was I. Whereabouts, Owen, on Sunset Junction were you? Because I was on Lucille, which is on Sunset Junction. Lucille is the street that comes down actually on Sunset Junction. You cannot get more than that. Doom, doom, doom. No, I'm not. I know Ian was from Upminster. What I mean is, Buckethead, thanks for pointing that out. I'm talking about the scene. It was called the Canvey Island scene when I was a kid. And the Canvey Island scene was, yes, Dr. Feelgood, but it was all the pubs around that area. So the pub rock scene was Dr. Feelgood, Ian Dury and the Blockheads. Of course, what's his face from Dr. Feelgood? Oh my God. I went to see him live loads of times. Come on, somebody get me before I do it. You know, like the... You know what that is? Why am I blanking? He used to have a black hand-painted Telecaster. He painted it black with big stripes. I went up and spoke to him after a show. I don't know if he's still alive, but Wilco Johnson. Yeah, somebody just got it as I was saying it. Yeah, Wilco Johnson. He was so much fun. And he had that big red curly cable with huge, thick red curly cable. And he would run across the stage. I have to go to the webcam. He would run across the stage with this guitar cable, with this Telecaster. Everybody ever saw it live, like this. And he would run across really fast. And the cable was like a spring. And as he would get to the end of it, he would like run backwards like he was being pulled by this cable. It was absolutely amazing. Is he still, he beat cancer, he's still alive? Oh, fantastic. Yeah, Nick Lowe. I mean, so many of those bands. So yeah, even though Ian was from Upminster, I meant the scene, the Canvey Island scene. It was so famous when I was a kid. Absolutely amazing. Really, really good. Yeah. Milk, what was their... Milk and Alcohol was one of their big hits, but obviously Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick, as Alex was talking about, was a massive number one hit single in England when I was a kid, you know. And the bass line is so good. Oh, it's great to see he's going strong. I want to go and see him now. Is he still just as nuts on stage, Ryan? Is he? It's one of the best shows ever. All right, I'll stop waffling on. Alrighty, so we've done bass, we've done drums, we talk about the relationship. I talked about some of the EQ, some of the choices, the fact that here I'm high passing at about 60, but it's gentle on the bass to get out of the way of the kick. The kick up here, the only kick EQ we did on this one here was boosting some 60, pulling out some 400. We haven't grouped the kick together. I'd love to meet Donald Fagen, yeah. Milk and Alcohol. Absolutely fantastic. All right. So let's go to another major element. The vocal. Brinsley Schwartz. Yeah, another one. This is the vocal. So this is the vocal with no EQ, no compression.
You don't know me. You don't know me like I do, but I've been drifting for about a year or two under these conditions. A weary soul and some torn up shoes from all the distance. And I need to prove that I am different.
So what are you hearing that? What I hear is a lot of, you don't know me, which is interesting because this is the 440 Pure. This microphone had a lot better high end. Had a lot better high end than we were experiencing. Okay, here, I'm just going to take this pre-roll off. That was on. Okay.
You don't know me. You don't know me like I do, but I've been drifting for about a year or two under these conditions.
Yeah, please start. I'm going to see Queen next month. They're doing a residency at Vegas, so we're going to go. How amazing. I'm going to cry the whole show, just letting you know. I'm announcing to the world, to hundreds of people, and after a month, after a month, I want you to know. I wonder if this is one of the early ones. This may have been the other mic.
You don't know me like I do.
I think this is a U47. This is a $15,000 microphone.
For about a year or two.
So, the thing about this microphone is it is fantastic on most people. We were having a hard time with David, and I think I told you the story before. It was the end of the night. We're tracking vocals, and I said to him, "Hey, sorry, but can I just film you using the 440 Pure, the $299, I think it's $300 Lewitt mic, because we want to get some, footage of this microphone." No, it's not the 440. So he's like, "Sure, I'm tired." I put the mic up, and it's so much brighter on his voice. This is the difference. Every individual's voice is like that. So this is a different mic. This is a very, very expensive mic. So what does that prove? It proves that amazing expensive mics like this that made Adele records, this microphone. This record recorded Adele. It recorded The Fray, How to Save a Life. It recorded Aerosmith. It recorded some huge things. Doesn't always work on every single voice. Does it work 90% of the time? Heck yes. So we went and put up a cheap Lewitt just to try it, just to film, and it became the mic of the rest of the album. This is a song before that. So interesting. So I'm going to get rid of any work we've done before, and I'm going to do a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to do something super generic. And you're all going to be like, what is he doing? He should be using 57 plugins. And no, this is what I'm going to do, is I'm just going to grab a generic EQ, because we're doing stock.
For about a year or two under these conditions. For about a year or two under these conditions. For about a year or two under these conditions.
Okay, so I went to 167, 168 and just gently low passed it. Normally 200 is where we like body. Oh yeah, all 47's the difference. This 47 though is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, it's been on some of the best records. It's amazing. It doesn't mean it's great for his voice though. He doesn't have a lot of, me, about a year or two, I've got more of that in my voice. He doesn't. I love the SM7. It's an amazing mic.
For about a year or two under these conditions.
So look, at 200, it's adding body.
For about a year or two under these conditions.
But it's also bringing up things we don't like. Typically in vocals, 4 to 700 is a horrible, horrible area. So, but I'm not going to do what everybody tells you to do. I'm going to do what I like to do. Now, the 47 is an amazing mic on other people's vocals. Other people's vocals.
For about a year or two under these conditions. For about a year or two under these conditions. For about a year or two under...
Now, you see what I just did? It sounds a million times better. Here's before.
For about a year or two under these conditions.
It's already 100 times better. I did everything completely wrong, what every single video is going to tell you to do. Every single video is going, you should never boost, you should always cut. And I just boosted. I made it brighter. What did it also do while brighting? Oh my God, by boosting you are affecting the phase. Look at the way. I don't give a crap about that. It sounds better. I don't give a schnizzle about it. It sounds better. And all I did was boost those areas quite dramatically. I high passed and I boosted those high mids.
For about a year or two under these conditions.
And it's not exaggerating the S's. That's the only downside of some of the cheaper condensers, is that they don't take high-end boost.
For about a year or two.
The great thing about an expensive mic, love it or hate it, is that if it's smooth on the high end, you see, here goes super duper. Surprise you're boosting first or not cutting mud first. I don't need to, because this is the same as cutting, just cutting that. Let's try an experiment. Okay, this is really good. I'm glad you guys are bringing it up. Okay, so I muted that and I've opened up a brand new one and I'm going to zero it all out. I'm going to zero it all out here. Okay. So we're going to do what all of the YouTubers are going to tell us to do. So we're going to go at about 600, 700.
For about a year or two under these...
Okay, so that's where it's ugly.
For about a year...
Now it sounds hollow. Okay, let's go to like the 400 where it's also ugly. Now this is wide. I can narrow it. I'll narrow the schnizzle out of it. I'll spend all day doing all the things that all the experts... the self-proclaimed experts tell you to do.
For about a year.
I mean, it's starting to sound awful, but it's taking out some of those areas. Now let's go in and do some of this.
For about a year or two under these conditions.
Now it sounds hollow.
For about a year or
and small.
For about a year or two.
So now it's like, well, wait there, but it's taking out all those areas.
For about a year or two under these conditions.
It's also quieter, so let's turn it up. In all fairness, it's got quieter.
For about a year or two.
Okay, now let's go and listen to the other one. Whoopsie, sorry, this one.
For about a year or two under these conditions.
I just like it better.
For about a year or two under...
I can take a little bit of de-essing off that.
For about a year or two.
It's not hollow sounding. Let's turn this one back on.
For about a year.
Whoops, wrong one.
For about a year or two under these conditions.
Yep.
For about a year or two under these conditions.
Okay, off.
For about a year or two under these conditions.
It just sounds better. It doesn't sound hollow. It doesn't matter that there's some 400 or 600 in there. It's not that there's too much, there's not that there's too much 400 or 600. It's just there's not enough high end. That's the difference. You can always find problems, and please do, but I didn't hear that there was too much mid-range, low mids. I heard that there wasn't enough high end. I didn't let the EQ clip, we're still talking. So,
for about a year or two under these conditions. For about a year or two under these conditions. For about a year or two under...
So what I usually do, and I highly advocate, so basically it's not necessarily, if you need something to be brighter, it's not all about cutting to make it brighter. You have to. If you want something to be brighter, trust your ears. Make it brighter. Trust your ears. Don't trust the armchair experts. You have to trust your ears. And everybody intuitively should do what they feel is right. Now, that little that we're hearing, let's get rid of it. So we hear that 2. See, I went to 5.6K and you saw how much that came out. It's probably a little much.
Under these conditions. For about a year or two under these conditions. For about a year or two.
Cool. So even with that high boost on, I still want it to be brighter.
For about a year or two under these.
See what happened here? On this output here, it's no longer clipping. Why is it no longer clipping? Because it's more controlled going in. This is something you'll note I will do a lot. I will do it a lot. Now I can boost this more.
For about a year or two under these conditions. For about a year or two under these.
So now it's just starting to clip a little bit on those high end. So I'm going to take that boost down a little bit. But what else am I going to do? I'm now going to take this de-esser and duplicate it.
For about a year or two under these conditions. For about a year or two under these conditions. For about a year or two under these conditions.
Cool. So all we're doing at the moment is just looking at, cutting makes it brighter by making it thinner. I don't want it to be thinner. I want the body of the vocal. I just want the high end up. It doesn't mean that sometimes cutting isn't perfect. Yeah, it's perfect sometimes to cut things. I love cutting things. I mean, just cut the schnizzle out of it. It makes it better. It's absolutely great. But we should be listening, not just doing things like going, we shouldn't just be going, oh, well, it sounds like there's too much low mid. It's like, does it sound like there's too much low mid, or does it sound like there's not enough top end? Yeah, I did mention that last time, guys. Can we get the pop screen on here? I know. Add that to the to-do list. Hopefully will be done.
You don't know me.
So to me, it's controlled, but I can still go and boost it. And we're obviously listening in solo, we're talking, we're not moving at the pace that I normally would move at, but it's okay. We're going slower. Okay, so I'm going to go.
You don't know me like I do, but I've been drifting. You don't know me like I do, but I've been drifting. You don't know me like I do, but I've been drifting. He's
been drifting. We might have to look at that for a quick comp.
For about a year or two under these conditions. For about a year or two under conditions.
So we've gone crazy on the brightness. But not only have we gone crazy on the brightness, we'll do another little high passing. No, say it ain't so. What is he doing? All right, here we go.
You don't know me like I do, but I'm still tracing every line that leads back to all of these conditions.
A de-esser is basically a single band multi-band compressor. What you're doing is you're going along and you're deciding what high end is like too brittle. You're using it to control that, and by controlling that, you're able to boost the high end and make the whole thing fill so much area and brighter but harsh things aren't getting too aggressive. So I will DS and EQ a lot.
And I can't find one more deserving of all the blame. I know myself well and everything points that way. And though I'm clean now, I can never change that these conditions are mine alone to claim.
So there you go. I mean, that's a quick fix. There's still more stuff to do to it.
But still no different. And I can't find one more deserving of all the blame. I know myself well and everything points that way.
I know it's very popular. So people talking about the SM7. It's very popular to hate on the SM7. I've noticed recently there's been a lot of like hatred, which is ridiculous because it's one of the most popular microphones. The SM7 is an amazing vocal microphone. It's really, really good. So those of you that do have that $400 one, it is incredible. A lot of records below. Steve is asking me about common things to build. I mean, honestly, I just want to make it brighter and then remove it annoying issues as it becomes brighter all around.
It feels like no matter how far I run away, no matter how brand new.
I'm not sure what you mean by dynamic splitting. Are you talking about the bass trick that I do where you split it into two things? You can do that in multiple way.
How far I run away, no matter how brand new I'm feeling today. Oh.
Yeah, the SM7 almost won our shootout when we had 12 or 13 of the most expensive mics in the world. The SM7 came in everybody's top 3.
No matter how brand new I'm feeling today, all that's behind me, all the good and bad.
Thanks, Gary. I think the most important thing we want to talk about here is about, is trust your ears. Really trust your ears. Yeah, the SM7B. I don't know the difference between the B and the 7. I don't know if there is any, and maybe it's all conjecture, and I don't want to get into one of those forum discussions where I'm like, well, they changed the component value of the B. None of that stuff matters, because most of the time I have guys telling me about different iterations of 1176s, and I used a reissue and like the B and the C and the D and the F and the G and whatever when I was making a huge record a few years ago. And the guy I was working with was convinced that one sounded better than the other, and we accidentally patched them backwards. And he said, look, I told you it sounds better. And then the assistant came cap in hand and said, oh, I'm really sorry, I put the reissue in on the guitar instead of the one you wanted. And of course the other guy was like, well, I mean, it's just like a lot of that stuff is kind of silly.
It feels like no matter how far I run away, no matter how brand new I'm feeling.
We're going to do a review of the Cloud Lifter. If the Cloud Lifter people are watching, I'm very sorry. I know you sent us one to try, and we're going to do Cloud Lifter. We're going to do that. We're just overwhelmed. We're just making a lot of records at the moment.
It feels like no matter how.
G. Baxter said it after he called the VK guy and bought an SM7 after the shootout. Yeah. It's an amazing must-have mic.
It feels.
Oh, I mean, yes, you can use those tools, the silenced noise, if it's just about like trying to like tame like certain frequencies. I love the Gullfoss, all of that stuff. We just did some stuff with the Academy talking about the Gullfoss. It's going to come out tomorrow. And one of the issues is like I'm not a big put it on your bus thing. Try to use some of these tools like dynamic EQs and the Gullfoss and stuff. Use them inside of your mix, not on the mix bus. If you've got an issue there, you should try and tame it earlier.
It feels like no matter how.
You're very welcome, Kafka. Feel better, my friend.
It feels like no matter how far I run away, no matter.
There is. Thank you for the bass sounds. Yes, we put a small amount of saturation. After the video finishes, go back and watch it again, and you'll see all of the EQ and compression we did on the bass. We're only using what's stock inside of Avid, so there wasn't a multi-band compressor. We did find one, and then as somebody pointed out, it was one of the Pro editions, and the Pro edition you have to pay for. So we nixed it, and we went to do mixing the bass without any multi-band, without any bass boost. Now, typically, when I mix bass, I use Waves R-Bass and Waves MV2, two of my favorite ever plugins, but we didn't do that this time. So you can watch it and see what we did.
It feels like no.
Okay, bye, Al. Thanks for joining us.
It feels like no matter.
I like to compress the vocal on the way in. If you're unsure of it, don't do it. You can do it in mix. Personally, I like to do it on the way in because that's what I like.
No matter how brand new I'm feeling today.
Okay, I feel like we've got a good starting point. Do I think that's the vocal sound? No. Do I think it's close to what we want? Definitely. All right, another giveaway. We've got to wrap up soon, and we still have a couple of giveaways to do, so please don't go anywhere. If you are still here, please like and share. Somebody... oh, that's good. That's really, really good. Okay. My wife was just telling me about school, kids clothing stuff. Okay, so I have tried Bass Rider. These are great plugins. So you're asking me about some really fantastic plugins, frequency analyzers, all of this stuff. Yeah, I mean, we're mixing totally with stock plugins here. Thanks so much, Warren. Have a great day, Warren. Okay, Tisbonus, great. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't already, please like, share. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. It would be absolutely amazing. I'd really appreciate it. 318 people watching. Thank you ever so much. We have 248 likes. If we can make that 318 likes, that would be unbelievable. So please like and share. Thank you ever so much. I really, really appreciate it. Okay. Let's do another giveaway. This is for a year inside of the Academy. And when you get the year inside the Academy, please take a photo of like a screen of the Produce Like a Pro Academy. We love putting it up. We give a lot of stuff away all the time, and we like to make sure that everybody knows that it's actually happening. This free stuff is happening all the time. Okay, so this is for a year membership of the Academy. What have we found out? I love knowing where you're all from. And we found out what IOs you use. We found out what DAWs you use. Okay, what mics do you have? What is your main vocal mic? We just had a whole discussion about, the U47 being an incredible, thank you, Robert, an incredible mic. But in this instance, the U47 is a little dull. We'll do a favorite album another day. Great idea. So, but what microphone? I like knowing about our community. I also like you knowing about each other. So what mic? Oh, wonderful. Brad won the Phoenix Audio Tilt Tone. Thanks ever so much. SE2200, a fake SM57. Great. Good for you, my friend. A Soyuz. What's my sign? I'm an Aquarius. I don't know if that means anything. I'm not into that stuff. Sorry. And no, I just don't know anything about it. It's not my thing. Okay. Aston, Sontronics. We love the guys at Sontronics. Shout out for Sontronics. Yay. Well, obviously we love Lewitt. Lewitt 240. Audio-Technica made great makes as well. Lewitt Pure. More Audio-Technica. None yet, but you want to get one. Great. Has everybody seen my recording acoustic guitar video? Those are all no EQ and no compression. So if you can, go back to that video and sort of check it out, because I think you're going to find out a lot of information about what's going on. I think you'll find out a lot of things by watching that. You should really, really enjoy that. Seems pretty popular. Blum, blum, blum. Yeah, there's a lot of comments, a lot of great stuff. All of the mics that we used on that for the acoustic guitar, all of them have no EQ, no compression, and they're all going into an Audient ID4. ID14, sorry. I'm looking at it, and I said ID4, and I looked over, and it says ID14. It is over here. We are using it at the moment. Everything is streaming off of that. People are loving the Aspen Pittman $109 mic. I think that was great. People asking a lot of great questions. So if you haven't already, go and check that out. It'll also give you a lot of information about some of these incredible mics, like the Mini K47, the Roswell mic. We love having Matt McGlynn on the show because he's really helpful and really self-effacing and honest and doesn't have any preconceptions. He will tell you about his mics, but he also talks favorably about other microphones. We love the fact that in his list of like 6 condenser microphones and tube microphones, he put the LCT 940 in there, which I thought was very, very honest because he knows that's a big competitor against some of his mics. We trust Matt. He has a website called recordinghacks.com. Go check it out. He talks about microphones. He doesn't pull any punches. He has no ego about this. He really is the real deal. So anyway, we tried out an Aspen Pittman DT1. We tried out the Lewitt LCT 240. We tried the LCT 140. We tried a Rode NT1, a Shure SM57, a Roswell, Matt's company, Mini K47, and a Loughton LA220. All of them did a remarkably good job. I love the 441 Flex. I believe we did a video on it. So let me check. Warren, I'm looking on YouTube. Warren Huart, Flex 441. And there it is. Recording a song with one mic. The Flex. Go check it out.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing obviously well. As ever, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, go to Produce Like a Pro.
There it is. So we did it, yeah. Go check out the Flex 441. I can't easily do it, but I'm sure Matt can put a link up for that. You can check out that mic.
I originally approached them.
And it was great. It was a giveaway we did as well. I think the giveaway's done, yeah, because it's 3 weeks ago. But check it out. And we did the whole thing we did the whole song. I recorded a whole song myself playing all the instruments using just that mic. I was really, really happy with it. And it was silly. It was like a little blues song, and I made it up as I went. Lewitt wrote and said thank you 2 days ago. Thank you. All right. Yep. Thank you. There it is. Look, Matt did it. All right. So stick around. We're going to do one more giveaway. We're going to come back on Tuesday with this song, and we're going to keep streaming it and mixing it. And if you're not an Academy member yet, you can try it out for 14 days free trial. And you can, with that 14-day free trial, so the 14-day free trial, and you can download these tracks. And if you're already an Academy member, of course, you can do it. I don't know what the NT1A means. Probably. Yeah, the LCT 940 is a game-changing mic. It's really fantastic. It's one of the best on the market. Graham Coxon from Blur told me that he bought it after watching our review on it. And he brought it over. He's bringing it over to America when he comes over. In fact, he's playing a show soon. I'll have to hit him up. If you're not a Blur fan, go back and check out the album Modern Life is Rubbish. And that makes me think of a great question that somebody suggested 20 minutes ago. What is your favorite album? What is the album that inspires you? This is to win a year inside of the Academy. So check it out. 323 people watching. We have 277 likes. Can we get that up to 323 likes? Please like and share. What is your favorite album? Eric? Or Andrew? Is Eric gone?
Eric is gone.
Okay, he's going to get the boys and drop him off?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were wondering what's happening.
Okay, well, this is the last one. Jeff Buckley Grace, put on the headphones. I'm going to use the bathroom. People are telling us what their favorite album is. What's your favorite album?
My favorite album. Hello, everybody. My name is Andrew. I'm one of Horn's peeps. So, favorite albums. Let me see. The Wall, Dark Side of the Moon, OK Computer, The Cure, Girls, 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 Appetite for Destruction, Van Halen 1, Firefall, System of the Down, Toxicity, 311, Sound System. Very nice, very nice. I don't know. I usually go between favorite albums. I have like a top 10 that I go to, but Physical Graffiti, Led Zeppelin. You don't buy coffee, you just rent it. All right. Hello, Hello, Metallica. Beautiful Freak, Metallica Load. How's it going, everybody? Purple Rain, AC/DC, Highway to Hell, Californication, Red Hot Chili Peppers. The Stones, Paint It Black. Abbey Road, The Beatles. Very nice, very nice. The Beatles White Album. Seeing a lot of Beatles in here. Yes, the streams do stay up after they end. I think there might be a small like rendering period, but you can always go back. And for example, we did this. We started this mix yesterday. You can always go back to that to see where Warren started, and then go to today's and catch up on that. What's my favorite album? It's hard to say. It changes, but Harvard, The Inevitable, and I is probably one of my favorite albums. It's a more like a indie band. Images and Words, Dream Theater, Number of the Beast. And then we have a winner. We have BGE says Days of Future Past.
Oh, what
Nice.
a great album. Love that. What won? Oh, that's one?
Yeah.
Wow, who won that? BGE. I wonder if Matt even knows who that is. And because he randomly chooses people, because that's the competition is random and that's the way it should be. That's amazing. I love that album. Oh, that was one of my dad's albums that he let me listen to as a kid, because if anybody knows that album, it's beautifully orchestrated. Oh, so good. And of course it has, I'm going to grab a guitar. I need a capo as well if I'm going to play it properly. Can't find a capo. Capo. Thank you. This is the portion of a live stream where we go off on a tangent. Yeah. Oh, Max is. It's sort of in tune, you have to deal with it, so. This is the worst capo ever. Okay, so I used to have all these shubs, but artists would come in and use them, and then after a while they disappear. Shubs are the best capo I've ever used. Yeah, these are awful capos I've got here. Yeah, I don't know where the shubs are. Cheers! All right, everybody. It's been an amazing fun. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of these kinds of capos. Yeah, I did actually hit a guitar. Isn't that funny? Luckily, it was just the my beaten-up old Nashville tuning guitar. Yeah, shubs are the way to go. Somebody said G7. I don't know what that is, but yeah. Marvelous. Thank you ever so much. Yeah, I know. Procol Harum. I just had to do it. Yeah, Moody Blues. It's just that Nights in White Satin was just so amazing. And my dad, would let me listen to Nights in White Satin, and that whole album is just so beautiful. So nice choice. Have everybody have a marvelous day. Thank you ever so much. I will see you all again on the live stream on Tuesday. Same place, same bat channel. Crapo Capos. Yeah, we'll. I know it's been fun. Sorry we didn't do one on Wednesday, but it was a busy day on Wednesday. For those of you who are the parents, you'll understand why. Back to school, all that kind of good stuff. So we did a different video on Wednesday, and we did our stream on. We just basically moved everything around. So we did the live stream Wednesday, and we didn't do it on Tuesday, and we'll be back to the Tuesday, Thursday next week. Please, if you haven't already, like and share. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing, and I'll speak to you all again. Oh, Matt wants to talk to me. I'm going to give him a call. Yes, Matt, we'll give you a call. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing, everybody. It's been amazing. You've been incredible. And I will see you all again soon. Thanks. Bye.